Welcome to the Awesemo Early Bird Podcast. It's your old pal Emac coming to you with one Dave Lochran. That's right, Lofty D. We did not upload the incorrect file. It's going to be Thursday, August 30th. That will be the game slate. Pardon me, Friday, August 30th. I've been doing that all day, Lofty. All day I keep saying the 30th, but it's Thursday.
You win some, you lose some.
I even did that in the article I wrote last night. So I've been calling this the 30th for more than 48 hours now.
It's impressive.
Yeah,
You're committed.
It's a streak. It's a streak. Well, you get those short slates and the split slates, and God, at this time of the year, we're trying to cram in all these little best ball drafts and
Just give
season-long
me
drafts.
football.
Yeah, it's getting in there for that. Speaking of which, I turn my notifications off here. I've got 40 drafts active now, but they've changed the timing on draft to 4 hours instead of 8. They changed it this week, and then it'll go down to 2 hours, and then
You
it'll
have
go
40?
Yeah, 40. I've already done 160, so I'm trying to get 200 over there.
How many in the $1 million?
None yet.
Oh, okay. I did 3 of them today. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, because I'm going on PTO here, enjoying the long weekend, as I hope most of our listeners are. I will be doing a few this weekend, but I haven't during the week because it's just easier for me to let a bunch of them queue up, make 15 picks once an hour, and just be done with it rather than sit there. But I like that they have a 30-second clock. That's very nice.
Yep, so do I.
And then on our presenting sponsor, Yahoo, they are in their initial year of best ball drafts as well, half-point PPR. The little wrinkle there is you do draft defenses, so you got to get 2 of them. You can only draft 50 total, or play in 50 total leagues, 5-0, but I did one over there the other night. Very, very smooth interface, very nice. I did it on my computer, did a $20 one.
They have money leagues?
Oh, yeah. This was, they go up, I think they go up to 250. I did a $20 one. Nice. I think they have 1, 5, 10, and 20. I just had the filter set on that, but I think it goes a little higher. But yeah, it was pretty slick. Normal half-point PPR, 4 points per quarterback touchdown, 6 for the rest, decimal 1.1 for yardage, etc. So it's a pretty good deal there. You got to check that out. You know, they are the presenting sponsor.
That is right. Well, I mean, I'm going to load up on their week 1 DFS contest for sure.
The $1 Million Baller.
No rate, no management fee.
No management fee. If you haven't signed up yet, let's get this one out of the way. Check out any Spotlight Hitters article. We've got so much content on the page. Your best bet to get it now is to go up to the top bar, click on MLB, click on articles, and then you'll get a nice picture of all of the recent articles with the different players that are featured. You can check out the Spotlight Hitters. Third paragraph will tell you how to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports Rewards points YSRP with your initial deposit bonus. Just use our promo code, come in on that link, and you'll be all set. All right, Dave, speaking of being all set, 14 games. We're going to go talk about pitching, focus on that. We'll talk a little hitting there at the end. We'll kind of look at DK for the main part, go down those pricing tiers. We'll also circle back on Yahoo because it is Friday, and we do have a Yahoo show at 1:30 on the Awesemo YouTube channel. We will also have a free article that will be written by yours truly, focusing on the Yahoo strategy. And there's a different strategy there than on the other sites, but we'll talk about that a little later in the show. Starting at the top, Dave, if you're a music fan, you got Shane Bieber, who is now having a bromance on Twitter with Justin Bieber, which has been, I don't know, sickening. You've got Aaron Nola, younger
I didn't
brother.
Even know about that.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, it's
I guess I live under a rock.
You're the guy that's always on Twitter. How do I know about it? But
I'm never on. I don't go on Twitter very often.
So this has been over a couple of weeks. There was a Shane Bieber baseball card, and on the back they were writing the little description of what he did, and then instead of calling him Shane, they called him Justin. So whoever typed it had a bit
really?
of a yes. So then he tweeted something about it, and Justin Bieber tweeted back and said, "Oh, that's something like I don't remember, kindred spirits or whatever." But then this last week, Justin Bieber was wearing a Bieber Cleveland jersey.
Oh, nice.
When he was out and about. So
that's
apparently,
cute.
Yeah, there you go. We'll have to see. Maybe they'll pass each other notes at lunchtime. But you got the Biebs there at the top. Aaron Nola coming in second. Dinelson Lamet, fantastic matchup in San Francisco. It's going to be cooler there, but he's coming in at 5 figures. Trevor Bauer is going against St. Louis. That'll be interesting. He's had a couple good starts, wrapped around one crappy one since joining the Reds. Madsen Bumgarner going against San Diego. Not my favorite matchup, but a nice park. And then Wade Miley, $10,000. It's like you get everybody is $10,000 these days on DraftKings except for Sonny Gray on 8-game slates.
Yeah, pretty much. And look, I'm as far as pricing goes, it's kind of tough because it is a Coors slate with Dario Agrazal and Antonio Senzatella. So that's going to make things difficult. There's no question that you're going to have to get creative or in order to make things work. But a couple of things to point out here. I'll just go with the guys above 10K. Wade Miley being above 10K is outrageous, by the way. But there he is, and you can just don't play him. Put it that way. Don't pay that much for Wade Miley. I don't care if he's been good or not. It's not worth it. Bieber against Tampa Bay is a perfectly solid play. He's very expensive, but one of the highest upside pitchers in the game. Not even disputable right now. And then Aaron Nola. It's tough with Aaron Nola because I really like him. I don't know if he's worth this much, but he is really damn good. So I'm on board with both of these guys. Then you have Lamet. Let's just go down the list. You have Lamet. You have Trevor Bauer against a righty heavy St. Louis team, and then Madison Bumgarner, who's going up against the San Diego Padres. So maybe not all of them have the greatest matchup, but all of these guys are very much in play. I think it's a really interesting slate to get different on. But the big thing here is with this Coors game undoubtedly having a monster total. Are you going to want to? Is this somewhere where you're going to want to pay up this much for a pitcher? And I think it might be difficult unless we can find someone that's just dirt cheap.
Yeah, and I don't know that dirt cheap one is going to exist. So, kind of as you mentioned, Bieber up there. I had not realized somehow I had blacked out of my mind the second crappy start there for Bauer that happened on Sunday. I don't think I played him because of his price point, and we were doing some different stuff there on Sunday. But he got crushed by Pittsburgh. That had escaped my mind. So his two good starts, two bad starts there. But his good starts, when he's on, man, he is a top 5 pitcher in the game. Lamet, don't know how many pitches he's going to go. That makes it tough. So, yeah, I think we might want to cruise down the pricing sheet just a touch here. Zach Gallen in a difficult matchup against the Dodgers. Is it Gallen or Gallon?
I always thought it was Gallon.
Okay. I think I am incorrect. So we'll call him Gallon. So Zach Gallen.
I think you are too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Readers, put in a little note here in the comments. Do you think I'm wrong as well?
Yeah,
let's pile on.
Yeah, I would sure look like an asshole if I'm the one that's wrong.
There you go. We'll find out soon enough. But that's a tough one. All right, Kyle Gibson, 9,500, but he does get that matchup against Detroit. Downside is to be the third time he's faced them, and he's had 2 crappy outings against him. Still 9,500. That's a tough one. He does get to go against Edwin Jackson, though, Laffy, so that's a nice one. Hell, let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Maybe it'll be easier. Here's one. Elieser Hernandez. I'm curious on your thoughts here because the Osmo projections, actually the Alex Baker personal projections, which is what we use here at Osmo, they tend to love Elieser Hernandez. Now, he has a difficult matchup against the Washington Nationals, and the Nationals do have a 5.6 implied run total here. But Hernandez, 5,700, all of a sudden, you hope he gets a 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 earned runs kind of outing. Hell, even if he gives up 2 solo shots, I don't care. Gets us 12 points, and we move on and get the Coors Field bats. Is that the approach we want to take tonight? Would you start with him?
I think he's definitely one of the places you could go for sure. I'm not in love with Elieser Hernandez by any stretch, but this does feel like one spot where you could get to and feel okay about it. And at this rate, that's all you can really hope for, right? He's inexpensive. He has a reasonable enough matchup. I'd like for it to be in Miami, but that's okay. Reasonable enough spot, cheap enough. You're not going to go to Anderson against the Yankees. You're certainly not going to Edwin Jackson, Dario Agrazal, Antonio Senzatella. So there's no one beneath him that you could even make a reasonable argument for. Trent Thornton against Houston is equally unappealing. Jose Suarez against Boston. Man, it's bad. There's Eric Skoglund, but I don't love that. And I know you said earlier you were writing your article, the spotlight hitters, and actually looking for left or for righty power bats on this team. Just looking below 7K, it's tough to find anyone you really like whatsoever.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a dicey one here. The other interesting ones you had mentioned Thornton. So you sit there, and this is where we're going to get the old hashtag baseball. But gosh, there's no way he could get 20, 25 points against Houston. Oh wait, he already did once. He got 27 against them. So even though we're not saying great things about some of these pitchers, some of this rabble-rousing motley crew is going to get or have some good games, and some of them aren't. So this is where the mixing and matching sort of comes into it. I mean, Jose Suarez, we sit there and we thought that he had some nice strikeout power down there in AAA Salt Lake. Maybe he's a 4A pitcher, because he just, every time he comes back up to the minors this season, he's getting spanked a little bit. He's going against Boston. So Suarez is allowing a 2.97 home run per nine this season, 267 ISO, and a 9 walk rate to righties. So, yeah, I don't want him against Betts, Martinez, Bogarts, Vasquez, whomever. Skoglund, we could get there, maybe. It's the matchup, but he literally has a no strikeout upside. And if you look back to what he's done the last couple years, 93 innings, I'm going off the top of my head, but gave up like 10 home runs or something. Nothing exciting, but Baltimore may not be able to take advantage of him. This one's on the road. You got the wind coming in at 10 miles an hour from right field, and then it's going to be in the low 70s to upper 60s. So maybe we do think about Skoglund. Nady Eovaldi, no, not with that pretty straight fastball. And by pretty, I mean it's pretty. And by straight, I mean it's straight. And it also is pretty straight. Not quite as fast as it once was, but I'd be shocked if he gets more than 65, 70 pitches, which is not really exciting. Jose De Leon, I guess. Now we're up here with someone that's kind of going to be a bulk reliever, I guess. He's got going to go for about 35, 40 pitches, maybe. I don't know, Lofty. This is getting tough. So now we're in the middle, the exact middle. CC Sabathia, 39 years old, 19 major league campaigns under his belt. Tony Gonsolin actually made it into the rotation yet again. Have you looked at his DraftKings picture?
No, but I love looking at ridiculous pictures on DraftKings. Let me look at this. Oh wow.
Yeah, mullet galore. So he
looks like Macaulay Culkin when he was on heroin.
There you go. My answer was it's Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. It's his cousin coming down from the Oklahoma Panhandle to go catch that Aerosmith concert with him.
I could see it.
So can we trust him? And now we're all the way up to Colby Allard, who, he's going to get us some pitches. What's he going to do with them? I don't know, but he's going against the Mariners that
I like him.
Have a lot of lefties. So I'm gonna turn this over to you. You kind of got Allard. You have Dylan Bundy is definitely in play tonight. Let's not forget that he's allowed 65 home runs over the last 2 seasons, which is the most by a country mile. And then you got Marco Gonzalez, but he's in Texas. It's against a weakened Texas team. You have a lot of lefties. What would you like to do in this mid-tier?
Yeah, I mean, Colby Allard's is striking. That's a hell of a headshot too. He looks like he just smelled a fart. You see that?
I couldn't come up with a good description, but that's it.
Yeah, someone stuck shit on his lip. I feel like his strikeout rate needs to come down a little bit. It's 3% higher than it was at AAA, so that isn't something that I see as being sustainable unless he figured something out that we don't know about. But then again, like, he's got a good strikeout matchup, and if that's the case, I don't see why he can't do it again today. The big thing about him, and you mentioned, this is a Mariners team that can't really avoid running out like 4 or 5 lefties every time,
and playing 2 catchers every day because one of them DHs.
They have so many injuries that they're in a bind. They got a 25% K rate against lefties, and the numbers, out the WOBA, WRC plus ISO, they just keep coming down. So I think Allard's actually a perfectly reasonable play here. I can understand why you might not want to spend that much for him, but there aren't that many guys that you're going to want to spend on. Like Max Fried, I think you could make a pretty decent argument for against the White Sox. I don't have a problem with Max Fried. I liked him a whole lot more when he was 6,500, but on a slate like this, if you wanted to go two mid-range pitchers, I get it. If you wanted to pair Alicia Hernandez with, Bumgarner or Bauer or Nola or Bieber, I can see it. Hell, even Lamette's interesting, but I don't know if I want to pay that much for him with a lot more reliable pitchers on the slate. You're not going to go to Zach Gallen. One more I'll throw out there. Let me pull up his FanDuel price. Unless, do you have FanDuel pulled up?
I can real quick. What do you need?
I'm curious to see what Gibson's at on FanDuel because
he is 8,400,
which is reasonable. 95 on DraftKings is a bit untenable, but I think you could look to him there. Wheeler at 9K, I would prefer over Gibson. Hal Dakota Hudson is 9,200 is definitely escaping me. So, and Gallen being almost 10K is crazy. So in that 9K range, Wheeler would be my top guy. Then the question is, like, can you play Anibal Sanchez against the Marlins? I think you can. I don't know how great you'd feel about it, but I think you can. If you're going to pay 8K for Colby Allard, which I think is at least reasonable, I think you could probably pay for Anibal Sanchez as well. So the 8K to 9K, like on the dot, 8K on the dot, Allard to 9K where Wheeler is, I think that has a decent amount of viable options. I might not even be totally opposed to running out Dylan Bundy in some tournaments because despite all of his warts, he can go out there and rack up a good amount of strikeouts, and he should see a decent amount of righties in this Royals lineup.
All right. 132 games played by the Marlins. What percentage of their games have they scored 6 or more runs?
9.
Hold on. So 30 of those 130, whatever I said, they've scored. So basically 25%.
Oh, that's a lot more than I would have anticipated. I'll tell you that much.
Isn't it? That's pretty wild. I've asked that question of a couple different calls because that's one of the things I'd never look at. But if you blindly say, "Hey, we're gonna go against Detroit or we're gonna go against the Marlins," and then you turn around and you're like, "Well, how the hell did they score 16 or 6 runs? How did they score 7 runs?" Well, they have in about 1 out of every 4 times. Baseball's a little different these days. The other one that's just wild. So, do you know the top 3 teams that have allowed the most runs this season? Just raw runs, total runs allowed.
Top 3 teams have allowed the most runs. Is Boston one of them?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like a off the radar.
Oh no! This is not a trick. This is not a trick.
Detroit.
They are 5th.
5th. All right, hold on. I feel like Miami isn't one of them.
No. This is allowed the most runs. So think it AL East. Some of the crappy pitching staff. The pitching staffs you never mention in the deep dive.
Toronto, Toronto and Tampa. Tampa's pitching staff's been good.
Yeah.
So who is it? Toronto, right. Baltimore.
So Baltimore is number 1.
Toronto
is number 10.
Oh, I thought you meant 2 in the NL East.
Oh, no. Just 1. Just Baltimore. So the other 2.
Oh, yeah. Who else do we have?
Colorado, which makes sense. Coors Field. And then the Mariners, who have been crappy. And for the most of the season, the Mariners actually were leading the league. So at this point, the Orioles have scored allowed 831 runs.
Wow.
The Rockies have allowed 786. So they're second, yet they are almost 50 behind the Orioles. The Mariners are third at 756. They're, 75 behind the Orioles. The Orioles have allowed 75 more runs than the third worst team.
That is crazy.
Yes, we must clearly attack Baltimore. Now, I don't know what's going to happen because they have Kansas City on the docket this weekend, and Kansas City looking a little feeble there. But just some wild numbers there. And it's just things we don't normally look at, but always fun since I know some people are going to be doing some driving on their holiday weekend here Friday morning as they're listening to that one, to throw that out there. So that kind of hits it. We've sort of homed in here on the Allard, Bundy range of pitchers. Anibal Sanchez will be the third time he's going against Miami. As we mentioned, they could be dangerous, but it's not really going to be that warm in DC. But then anytime you start going above that, especially on DK, you're going to cost yourself some Coors Field bats. And the two guys they have going is Dario Agrisal, as Dave mentioned, and Antonio Senzatella. Now, both those guys, it's like they're mirror images of each other. They're both awful. Two, they don't allow a ton of power, better ground ball rates, but they allow so many damn base runners. It doesn't help them out. Neither one strikes out a lot. We've got a 14 implied run total. Yeah, I want to play people in that game. And then, Edwin Jackson's on the slate against Minnesota. Yeah, I want to play a lot of Minnesota bats against Edwin Jackson, who's allowing, I don't know, like 50 home runs per 9 or something at this point this season. So he's a bit of a mess. So let's look at the other sites real quick. We'll talk offense and we'll get on out of here as people want to get on to their work day or their skip day. They are getting ready for a long weekend, assuming you don't have kids in school or it has not yet started. So over on FanDuel, Dave, it's Bieber is at the top, 10-6. Nola, 10-4. Bauer, 9-6. Bumgarner, 9-2. Miley, 9,000. So kind of the same as DraftKings. I would lean towards Bieber in this one, but not the easiest of matchups against Tampa Bay that's trying to flirt with playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I would lean there as well, but I would say see what you can do with core stacks. If you really like those core stacks, going a little bit cheaper to some of these 7-8K guys could definitely make a lot of sense. This slate specifically, just expect a lot of runs to be scored between two really bad pitching staffs.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind on FanDuel Lamet at 82, Allard at 75. Probably going to end up on Allard on both sides. And then the really cheapy guys, yeah, nobody worthwhile. Over on Yahoo, again, we'll have an article out for that. That'll be free. That'll be in front of the paywall. We have some interesting choices. Trevor Bauer at 39 feels really good. Yes, 2 of his last 4 matchups have been disasters, but $39, the guys around him, Zach Wheeler, who's had 4 starts in a row, Dinelson Lamet, Zach Gallen. We're not really doing cartwheels for those guys' matchups. Sanchez, Miley as we go up the pricing chart. So Bauer stands out. Shane Bieber at 52 or Nola at 52. I think you should play one of those guys. If you go with one of them and Bauer, you're down to $13 per player. And if we go click over here on the hitters at Coors Field, you can probably work in guys like Murphy, Desmond, maybe Yonder Alonso slips into the lineup. You got Sam Hilliard, Adam Frazier, Jose Osuna, Colin Moran. Point being, you're not going to get the All-Stars, but you're going to be able to get 3 or 4 guys in your lineup from the Coors Field game. So that is probably a safer path of a lineup build. Kind of on the lower ones, how do you feel? Alicia Hernandez at 27 is definitely going to be in the conversation on Yahoo again.
He has to be. He has to. I mean, you're on a 14-game slate. I see why people want to jam in like 2 expensive pitchers, but I think this would be the worst slate to do it.
Let's see. Let's do Hernandez and Allard. That'll give us 17 per player. If we go over here and look at Colorado, that now we can start getting the Josh Bells, Charlie Blackmon, Starling Marte, etc. into our lineup. Let's take Marte's 23. We'll take Blackmon, who's 21. Bell, who's 20. Oh, let's throw in Osuna, make a little mini game stack. That's 4 guys, and I'm still at $15 per. I can throw in Hilliard, Frazier, and Murphy. I ran out of positions there. So I've got 6 guys from that game, and I still have $13 for a catcher, $13 for a shortstop, $33 combined. So there you go. There's your other path to victory. Now, is it going to be a nail biter there with Colby Allard and Alicia Hernandez? Yes. Yes, it is. But that's okay, because 2 swings to the bat, one of your guys gets a double home run, and you're looking pretty on that one. Outside of Colorado, any offenses you want to call out specifically, Dave?
Yeah, Baltimore, if they're cheap enough, could be really interesting against Eric Skoglund. Thornton's been decent enough against righties, and I could see why you'd want to get to Houston, but that could be tough. See if any of these cheap pitchers are popular and look to targeting some of the teams against them, because most of these pitchers are bad. Definitely Minnesota against Edwin Jackson, though. They won't be cheap. I understand that, but Edwin Jackson is just dreadfully bad. And, looking over the pricing on him, it's not that outrageous that you can't play them at all. I think Edwin Jackson, just given how terrible he's been, I don't know how he's still, it's incredible to me that he's still out there pitching, but I guess once in a while he'll throw a decent game. The Twins have to be one of your favorite stacks, especially if they go overlooked because of Coors Field.
So if Jackson were to pitch 200 innings, which is kind of the bellwether with his current home run rate, he would have 68 home runs allowed. That would be 3 more than what Dylan Bundy has done in the last 2 years, and he's the league leader in that time frame by 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's not particularly good.
No, it's 17 home runs in 49 and 2/3 innings.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
bad.
All right. Any other fun things you want to point out? We've got multiple shows here, Dave. We've got the DFS strategy show that's at 9:30. You're going to get the 1:30 Yahoo show. You're going to get the deep dive show or the deep dive article. It's by Dave. That'll be behind the paywall. Deeper dive show at 5 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock live before lock. Josh and Jake going for a record-setting 5 days in a row. Very impressive.
Yes, very impressive. Proud of them.
Any what happens on Sirius on the holiday weekends?
The same thing. Saturday, Sunday. Sirius XM Fantasy 2, Sirius 210 XM 87, Awesemo Radio. Saturday 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. But I will say this much: there might be a Cat 4 hurricane coming Manny's way, so we'll see if he's there this weekend.
Yeah, everybody be safe down there if you're on the path of the storm. With that, gamers, we're going to get on out of here. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Lofty_D. I am at EBAC DFS. And of course, it is Awesemo_COM. Check out all of the free season-long football content that we have. Game capsules or team capsules for every team. It's broken down by division, and we also, of course, have videos done by Noland and Ben for each of the divisions as well. So you got all 6 of those, plenty of reading, plenty of stuff you can listen to while you're driving to your holiday destination. With that, gamers, good luck.